Okay, this is it. We come to the end, and it's the Evil Armies of the Hobbit. It's been so much fun going through these lists. Thank you to the Patreons who keep the channel going and for making me make these videos. I really enjoy making them, but I definitely wouldn't have done it without the Patreon support. So genuinely, thank you so much. I hope everybody's had a really good Christmas period if you've been watching it over this time. And I hope you got some models painted and opened some new toys and stuck some things up while I just spout random knowledge or not knowledge at you. It's been really, really good fun. Let's go. Last day, last video, Armies of the Hobbit. Okay, the Army of Gundabad. We've got Azog, Bolg, Gundabad captains, mercenary captains, the Troll Brute, the Catapult Troll, Gundabad Warriors, Gundabad Berserkers, Goblin Mercenaries, Gundabad Troll, Gundabad Ogres, and the Warbats. So this is the evil half of the Battle of Five Armies. And essentially what you're getting here is the Signal Tower as the special rules. If your general is either Azog or Bolg, they gain the 5+ Master of Battle special rule, which is a great little bonus to have. And I should say you can build this army however you want. If you do just want to take Gundabad Orc captains and then Gundabad Ogres, that's completely fine. There's no restrictions here. Azog can re-roll wounds when making strikes against Erebor models. And then you get into the Signal Tower type stuff. Once per turn, you can... Sorry, not once per turn. Once per game, you can use the Horn of Gorgoth, which gives +2 courage to friendly models and -2 courage to enemy models for 1 turn. That's as long as your general is alive, and so is the next one. Your general has to be alive, and then you can choose to raise one of 3 banners. You can do that each turn, but you can't raise the same banner 2 turns in a row. So you've got to think, how do you want to use it? You can get a free heroic march on all of your Gundabad hero models. You can count all your Gundabad models as in range of a banner, or you can give a 6+ save to all your Gundabad models, and on Berserkers, that becomes a 5+ save. I like the slight choice element in that, and I like that list on the whole. There's loads of different builds for that and tricks. You could have loads of bats, you could take Bolg, not Azog, you could ditch both of them or take both of them. Very, very cool. And obviously, Fight 4 on the Gundabad Warriors is probably pretty good in combat. Oh, no White Wag for Azog, though, I suppose is a huge thing. Bolg does get his Fell Wag option. Is Bolg on a Wag better than Azog with a flail? Azog would be 5 points more. Bolg could take his bow, so you're basically the same points. Interesting. The Pits of Dol Guldur are back. Azog can take his White Wag. The Keeper of the Dungeons, Gundabad Captains, Hunter Orc Captains, and Thrain the Broken. Gundabad Warriors, Hunter Orc Warriors, Hunter Orc Wag Riders, Fell Wags, and then Spiders. So you've got the Mirkwood Giant Spider and the Mirkwood Hunting Spider. Interesting. I think that means we're probably not going to get a Spider-only Legion, but we knew that anyway. You have to take Azog. It's kind of in the name, and he's obviously the general. It's got the same surprise attack rules before, where you win priority, you have to then take priority, and the opponent can't call heroic moves, so you get one massive charge. And don't forget, all the Hunter Orcs are getting +1 attack on the charge. Friendly models get resistant to magic. Thrain counts as an evil model. If he's within 6 inches of the Keeper of the Dungeons, he doesn't have to test for being evil or not. And Orc Warriors get +1 to wound against models that can cast magic. No free heroic combat here. This has had a massive debuff. The Hunter Orcs are still very good, especially the ones on the Wags, and I'm interested to see how Spiders might fit in. I thought maybe we'd see the Necromancer in it. I'm pretty sure in that scene the Necromancer is fighting Gandalf and then he kind of runs from all of them. But I like it. It means the Necromancer is going to be restricted to 1 list. And I'd probably rather do the Army of Gundabad, but there will be a place in the game for this list. Azog's Hunters next, and this is just Azog, the Wags, and the Hunter Orcs. So you've got Azog, Bolg, Yazneg, Fimble, Narzug, Hunter Orc Captains, Hunter Orc Warriors, Hunter Orcs on Wag Riders, and Fell Wags. It's a shooty army. You can have 50% bows, and everybody's got Morgul arrows. So if you shoot and wound somebody with an arrow, they have to roll a dice, and on the roll of a 1, they lose another wound. So it's actually pretty good. I was thinking heroes, but it's probably quite good at bringing down the occasional monster, or maybe chipping a couple of wounds off one. Everybody gets woodland creature and mountain dweller. All the orcs get +1 courage when they're charging a model with the terror special rule. This is fine. Shooting armies aren't really my style. I think I would have liked this to maybe be more hero hunter orientated, as that's what we see them do in the film. They're just chasing Thorin's company endlessly, but then I suppose they're not very good at it. And we see them fighting Legolas and the elves as well. I don't remember seeing them shooting like crazy. There is shooting in that film and in that scene, but it's not their main jam. Decent army, not for me. The rise of the Necromancer then, and it's had a big change. It's not just the Necromancer, the Nazgul and the Keeper. You can also take spiders, Hunter Orcs and Hunter Orc Captains and Hunter Orc Wag Riders. You can take it as all heroes, in which case it's one warband. If not, it's the same as normal and there's no restrictions. You don't have to take the Necromancer here. The Necromancer though does get to cast 2 magical powers in 1 turn, and when he casts a spell, he adds a free casting dice to that. So you're going to want to be taking the Necromancer, but this can now be taken right up to any points value, and I'm interested to see how this is going to look. Difficult for me to offer opinions on this without playing it. I imagine there's quite a lot of good to come from this, but I think the best way is probably still going to be running it as pure Necromancer and Nazgul. If not, you're going to end up having a smattering of a few orcs that get killed, and then your army's broken or 25%ed and the game ends before you've made the most of that resurrection roll. But that's just on the face of it. I need to play it to see. What have we got left? So we've got Smaug, the 3 Trolls and Goblin Town left. Okay, Goblin Town, there's a lot going on here and I love it. We've got the Goblin King, Grinner, the Goblin Scribe, Goblin Captain, Goblin Warriors and Golem. And remember, everything is more expensive in this army than it used to be. The stats haven't really changed, but the points have gone up a fair whack. But we've got some new bonuses. First, all the Goblin Hero models can take 6 more models than normal in their warband. Fine, great. We want a mass of goblins, I like it. When your army's not broken, friendly goblin models get +1 courage for when charging an enemy that causes terror. Finally, we needed that. It was getting oppressive playing Black Riders or Kurdan based lists with the Goblin Town. I like that. And then we've got 2 interesting rules. First up, the Goblin King or Grinner can take an enemy hero prisoner. If they kill an enemy hero that isn't a monster, you remove them as a casualty, and then you say that that's the Goblin King's prisoner or that's Grinner's prisoner. And at the end of the game, if the Goblin King or Grinner is still alive and they have a prisoner, you get a victory point. This is not an army that needs access to more victory points, I don't think. Maybe in like leader kills scenarios, but they can spread around the battlefield and get objectives anyway. Now it's going to be even easier for them. And then they've got one of these choosing kind of rules, a bit like Azog's Signal Tower, where the Goblin King is going to sing a song. He's not going to sing the same song every turn though, and each song is going to give you a different benefit. So he can be a 6-inch banner. He can make it so all goblins within 6 inches of him cause terror. He can give them all a 6+ save, or he can make it so they all re-roll natural 1s. So a few good different options there, and you've just got to pick what you need and when. Really, really cool. I really want to try Goblin Town. This might actually, in this book, be the list I'm most excited to try. There's so many little tweaks. You've got the tweak to the Goblin Scribe. The Goblin King is always great. And then you've got these songs and the victory points. I'm loving the look of Goblin Town. But now I'm onto the 3 Trolls and... Ow, my face. But now I'm onto the 3 Trolls. And I think this is probably going to be the one that most people are excited by, from what I've heard. Okay, I've not read all this yet, but it's crazy. So you've got to take Bill, Bert and Tom. That's 400 points, but you've got 50 points per additional upgrade. They also get the Campfire for free. Campfire's got a 6-inch range, gives them resistant to magic, and a bonus of +1 to courage checks while they're within 6 of it, and it counts as a banner. Already that's pretty good. but then you can spend 50 points if you want to increase their might, will and fate to 3, to give them 4 attacks on the charge. Already that's worth 100 points. So 500 points, you've got the 3 trolls getting 4 attacks on the charge and they're 3/3/3 on their stats. You can make it so they ignore wounds on a natural 6+, and you can increase the campfire's effect to 18 inches. It'll also count as victory points in scenarios where that matters, as long as there's not an enemy in base contact with it. We've got Bowl Them Over, which seems like the worst one so far. They can use their throw stones as throwing weapons. That's fine. Dominant Presence, if you get the right scenario, if they're within 3 inches of an objective, they just count as holding that. Doesn't matter what dominant rule the opponent's got, how many models are there, it belongs to the troll. And then Savvy Fighters looks insane. They all gain Heroic Strike. I think Bill might be the one that has it anyway, but the other 2 get it as well. And then if the opponent Heroic Strikes against you on a 4+, you get to Heroic Strike for free. Okay, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 more, hang on. Tasty Livestock. Essentially, you're going to put meat or things around the battlefield, and if they start their turn within 3 inches of it, they regain a lost wound. They can choose for the scenario to take place at night time. They can re-roll 1s when rolling to wound, or they can choose to never be trapped and then re-roll failed wound against trap models. Bearing in mind this list will always be the 3 trolls, so it's unlikely the opponent's going to be trapped unless they've been thrown off their horse or something like that. And then they can put down stash markers, so they can each have a stash, and then when they're walking around they drop a little marker and it counts as a model for the purposes of taking objectives. Some of these are okay, some of these are amazing. I'm going to build like a little pretend list now and we'll see how that's looking and what points it comes to. So it's 400 for the trolls. We've got the campfire. We're going to increase their might, will and fate to 3 points. We're going to make it so they can't be trapped. 4 attacks on the charge. Do we want wounds back? Do we want dominating presence? Free heroic strike potentially? I think the strike is going to be less good than we think it is. Although a lot of heroes are fight 6 now and these guys are fight 7. We're going to give them the strike one. There, that's 600 points. So it's the 3 trolls, upgrade the might, will and fate, 4 attacks on the charge, the heroic strike thing, and they can never be trapped. The objective one's good, but they've still got dominant, and I think they'll just deal that much damage. I want to have a go with that. Right, last one is Smaug, who never used to have a bonus. He has now. Okay, Smaug's got some interesting new additional rules. He always counts as holding an objective if he's in range of it, even if it's the 3 trolls and they've got their rule that says they control it. Smaug's overwrites that. If there's an enemy carrying an objective marker, he's got lust for gold. He just wants to get that objective. He has to charge them if he's able to. And at the start of the game, he gives 3 gold to opposing models and he has to charge those models. If he manages to kill 2 out of the 3, he'll get 2 victory points though. But if any of the gold markers are owned by the opponent, they'll get 2 victory points. What I think it does is move Smaug around the battlefield, and it makes it more fun for the opponent to play. They can drag him out into positions where maybe he doesn't want to be. Maybe he'll get his fire breath off more often. I'm not sure. I've only ever played Smaug once, but it was very much it was fun because it was a great opponent, but it was very much a static game of just smash in, roll the dice, hope you strike higher, and then see how many wounds you get. Hopefully now you'll be able to drag him around the battlefield a little bit. And that is the end of the book. There's so many armies I want to try out, and hopefully you'll see them on the channel soon. We're going to be filming battle reports middle of Jan, so they'll actually be up on the channel February sometime, but just can't wait to get some models on the table. I'm loving all the changes I've seen so far. There's 1 or 2 things where maybe I just need to get a bit used to it, but I like it a lot and I'm so here for the new edition. Hopefully you've enjoyed painting or modelling along to this or whatever you've been doing over Christmas. We'll get back on the regular content soon. We've got a board build coming up. Then there'll be a little bit of a gap. My real life work is really, really busy until kind of end of March. And then I can get back on the more consistent or proper content again. But thank you so much for watching. It takes a lot to make these videos. My kids are breaking up from school soon, so I'm just trying to smash these out as quick as I can for you. Hopefully you're enjoying them. Please consider joining the Patreon. It goes an awful long way to helping the channel. Thanks for watching. Merry Christmas if you are watching this at Christmas.